Hey guys, today with the topic, I was toxic in the relationship, what should I do? This could be put together with the super category self-reflection, well I wanted to make longer videos anyway. So in general, you're dealing with me, with someone who in his old relationship wasn't so innocent of the whole dynamic that built up between us back then and ultimately led to the breakup. I've been working for ages on the video of how a relationship of anxious and avoidant attachment type creates a cycle from which they can hardly get out on their own, and in the end everything revolves around reproaches, misunderstood love, power struggles and emotional pain. In other words, it's a toxic showcase relationship, even if you can't and don't want to admit it at that moment. But honestly, I never get to the point, as my claim to the topic would be. It's just something personal. On the subject of toxicity within a relationship, what is toxic and how do you avoid that, people? Frame. Work on yourself and respect, and ideally before you meet this person and blow your first chance right out of the water. That's so easy to say in hindsight when it's already over, I know. But you don't know what the future will bring, and before you stand there like that again the next time after that, go for it. But let's take me as an example. I came out of it and like most had this mishmash of feelings inside of me. Fear of loss, abysmal despair, this emptiness inside me, in addition it had the new one, so jealousy, envy, anger every now and then every few hours in turn. Then, of course, came the usual mistakes one makes after a relationship, which kept me from really accepting reality and being able to accept it as such. It came relatively late to that. More and more, and after 1.5 months I was maybe ready to focus only on myself. In the whole time my main focus was to distract myself or to find out what had gone wrong. Rational thinking just, according to the motto, relationship broken, must repair relationship, if relationship again whole, everything again well. The intermediate step was not there, and that was the stupid thing about it. Because there is none. The relationship is broken. End of story. Nevertheless, you can take away certain things from it, and I tried to find them out for myself. That was good in my eyes, but the implementation was of course catastrophic. I'll tell you something about self-reflection now. What I did, was distraction and working on the side to bend me so that I could please her again. That I fill the holes that the relationship had in my eyes and can present it to her again as a whole. It would have been more important to do directly what I started to do after 1.5 months. Namely to accept myself as I was. You don't undo what happened by blaming yourself and feeling sorry for yourself or trying to make up for every mistake and get forgiven. There you make your happiness only dependent on the person, who will give away just as the very last attention to you. At least the one that is useful to you. Self-reflection is acceptance of what you were and what you are in order to be able to determine the new direction in which you want to develop. For this, you may have to dig just as deep within yourself and recognize your mistakes or, in the worst case, toxic behaviors, and understand how it could come to this. Sometimes you can't do that alone, but let's be honest with ourselves. We know what caused the relationship to fail. Especially when we were like that to each other or the ex broke up out of desperation. All this leads to the loss of attraction. Maybe also starting with the affection loss, that is the affection, emotional closeness and the interpersonal within the relationship. This typical, everyday life has crept in only in fast and hard, instead of unnoticed. But this also results in a loss of attraction, and when this is there, the feelings are simply gone. There is then nothing more to repair. Couple therapy or so crap. Is from the perception for doubts about the partner completely pointless. The reasons for this are important for us to know, but we will not get them out of an unreflective ex-partner. Therefore, save the separation talk in which you roll up everything again. If you are not as cold as ice, and I'm just assuming that you are, then you don't cut a good figure, thereby damaging the attraction that may still be there and the general view of you and your self-worth. Have also an extra video. Gladly times look at. So you have to see for yourself how, what, where went wrong and where your share is. But this is not about blaming yourself for something, but to be able to classify your position. Where did you stand within the relationship, what helped you, what harmed you? what has helped and what has harmed the relationship. But you have to do all of this in the past tense and not assume that if you do something about yourself, everything will magically work out for your ex. You may be doing this with the big goal of getting your ex back. But after the breakup, come to a point where you can clearly recognize yourselves. How you were, acted. Not how much percentage you had in the breakup, but which characteristics and actions have led to the fact that you could not maintain the attraction. Yes, perhaps also which actions of your ex have led to your reactions and on which you had no influence. It is clear, now you have no more influence on it. This has happened and the separation has happened. Your ex has this view on it and you have to get it. What counts now are actions, and you are not able to do that if you react emotionally to your ex, try to solve a problem where actually there is no problem, or blame yourself although you can't change it anymore. I've been writing this more often to my people in coaching sessions lately. You can, of course, go here and blame yourself or continue to put time and energy into these considerations. But the fact is, you were like this within the relationship. Just accept that. You were on the level at that time, you had your knowledge at that time, and you were not aware of many things. Probably you were too deep in it to notice all that, or you made mistakes from the beginning that got you into it. However, even if you were emotionally unable to completely respond to your partner due to previous relationships and made her life hell, you were like that. You couldn't get out of your skin, shame on you. And now? What do you do with it? Because that's where it gets really interesting. Do you go on like this, or do you throw yourselves into the next relationship on the off chance? If yes, you have not recognized your problems, because you are not emotionally strong enough to get through such a situation or to treat the woman the way she deserves. You either don't have a frame or not enough empathy for it. But I specifically called the video that, among other things. I was toxic. You either click on it because you are so interested in the info, because you blame yourselves, or because you actually recognized toxic behaviors within the relationship. And there you are already very far, or I hope that I can help you a little bit. As I said, the first step is self-reflection. And actively. Nothing with distracting or anything else in that direction. At the beginning, this is rather to get away from the whole topic and to make the first step into no contact. There is nothing wrong with that, and it can help you, because you don't have only one topic in your head the whole day. But this has nothing to do with self-reflection and personality development. Just as little as a new haircut. Of course, you can make a statement for yourself, feel better, or reward yourself. With this, you neither make an impression on your ex, nor do you really improve yourself. This is for your self-worth, and you are puffing yourself up like a peacock, although there is no basis behind this appearance. That's why sports, especially weight training, is so important. It builds your character while it doesn't give you the time to think about your ex. But you can really start to align your frame, to define it, or whatever you want to call it. You can only do that when you have taken a neutral position inside in which you don't blame anyone anymore, which you have to take on yourself. The guilt and the sense of, this has led to that and so on, for all I care, but you still can't change it. Only react better to it in the future. Or as I once explained it differently with the focus, the time after the breakup you are completely fixated on your ex. The longer you keep the no contact and process or do something against thoughts that only eat away your energy, the more you zoom out and realize that your ex has actually taken a smaller space in your own existence than you thought. Once you've zoomed out far enough, you'll see the different areas of your life again and can put energy back into them. From this position you immediately draw connections that bring you completely new insights in many things. Among other things, that the woman just at the end was no longer the one to you, which you actually want back. Because you have done so much to her, if you were really toxic, that you would have to develop further, and her attraction to you is so weakened by this that she is able to be a new person towards you, who in this case rightly wants to have nothing more to do with you for the time being. The most important work to do now is to leave her alone and work on herself with the focus on herself. Even though I'm intentionally staying a bit on the surface here, because not everyone has the same problem and possibly wasn't even toxic, even though they feel they were. It doesn't change anything. The no contact is your best chance, except that before, at the time you can't control now, you put hurdles in your own way with her that she would have to overcome now to develop interest in you again. Should that happen, then she can see if you have truly changed. This happens quickly with some, then it may have been a breakup in the heat of the moment and the attraction and attachment are still there, but then you didn't have a chance to really work on yourself and that will be difficult. With others, it takes time and she will probably have at least one new guy in the meantime. This is not a woman thing. When we break up, we look out for our own happiness and want a relationship again. The question is how ready you are for it. Perception would be necessary for that, too, but you don't have to be interested in all that at the moment. You have no influence on this either. And with some people she will not contact you at all. You can do no contact until the day after tomorrow. But you deal with your problems and sooner or later this will lead to more happiness than would have been the case without this work on you. And for that alone, it should be worth it to you. But this is only my opinion. Nobody can guarantee that the ex will come back. You can only be helped to get in the best possible position to do so, just like I'm doing right now, although right now I can't even imagine her enriching my life. You just get to the point at some point where you realize that what started out as an ex-back has gotten you further as a human being than the last decade. And the trend is upward. Why stop there? The fact that your ex broke up with you is the path that was necessary for you to come to terms with yourself to such an extent that you were actually able to completely reflect on yourself and your innermost emotions for the first time and accept yourself. If you are not there yet, this is the way out. As we said in the video, letting go is the key on Ex-Back Explained. I wish you all the best out there. Whether you were toxic or not. Only if you continue to be or want to pass responsibility for your actions, then you have only yourselves to blame. And just a little note to end on, if you want to apologize for your behavior, do it only when you are not yet in no contact. Close to the breakup where it still feels natural. Not 4 weeks without her writing you again any message with absolution for her out of nowhere. Otherwise this is something for when she is really receptive to it and you are already in the process of dating again or at least meeting. Of course, only by a message with interest in you, triggered by her. Otherwise, these are just empty words that make you look needy and that may touch her, but not in a way that will bring you or her anything now. Take care and until the next video.